Hello everybody, MightyNifty here, and today we're going to be making Zeppole. Everyone knows about St. Patrick's Day on March 17th, but only 2 days later is St. Joseph's Day, or Italian Father's Day. And no St. Joseph's Day would be complete without these beautiful, creamy, delicious pastries traditionally only made for the holiday. It's a pretty complex recipe, but it's totally worth the effort, so let's get started. To start things off, we'll make the dough for our pastry base. And this starts in a pot over medium heat into which we'll put some water, butter, sugar, and a pinch of salt. I kind of forgot to turn the camera on for this, so you'll have to imagine it, but once it's all in there, we'll wait for the butter to melt, stirring occasionally, and when everything is combined, we'll pop in some flour. Now we want to mix this together until it forms a nice smooth dough. After that, we need to cook the flour to get rid of the raw taste, which should take about 2 or 3 minutes. Just keep it stirring. Then we can take it off the stove and over to the counter where we'll add our eggs. But since we don't want our eggs to scramble, we'll just leave this here to cool for about 5 to 10 minutes. Once our dough is cooled to the point where it won't cook our eggs, we can add them in one at a time. And while the dough is cooled a bit, it is still hot, so be sure to keep everything moving as much as possible to avoid cooking these eggs. It'll take a little bit of elbow grease, but eventually you should have all 4 eggs incorporated and your dough should be a bit less solid. Now let's take it back over to the stove on a medium-low heat and just heat it up for 30 to 60 seconds or until the dough thins out enough to pipe from a pastry bag. Just be vigorous about stirring because those eggs can still cook if you're not careful. Here we want to take the dough and plop it into the pastry bags. Just don't make my mistake of overfilling the bags, otherwise you might lose some of the dough out of the top. Hence why this recipe that makes 12 pastries ended up making 11 for me. When your bag is ready, just slowly pipe the dough onto a baking mat or some wax paper on a cookie sheet. You can do this any way you like, but I prefer the classic inward spiral. If you don't have a pastry bag, you could always use a Ziploc bag with the corner cut out, or just scoop the mixture with a couple of spoons to make a ball-shaped Zeppole. Once you have your Zeppole ready to go, just pop them into a 425-degree oven for 15 minutes, and then reduce the temperature to 350 and cook for 10 to 15 more minutes, or until they look like this. Beautiful golden pastries with a fun design, but these aren't Zeppole yet. To finish these up, we need the pastry cream, or as they call it in Italy, the Pasticcera. Now this cream is really just a fancy custard, but it's incredibly good. To start off, we'll prep our dry ingredients by mixing together our flour and half a cup of our sugar, and when those have been whisked together, we'll add in our 4 eggs and beat everything together. And when everything is pretty well combined, we can get started on the milk. So in a pot over medium-low heat, add in a quart of milk, the rest of the sugar, and a bit of salt. Mix it occasionally to prevent it from forming a film, and when the mixture begins to show small bubbles, take a cup or so of the milk and add it to the flour mixture. This is a process known as tempering. It's a process in which we take a little bit of the hot milk to raise the temperature of the eggs slowly without cooking them so that we can mix everything back in later. Just be quick with that whisk or the eggs will cook anyway. Repeat the tempering process until you have a thin and liquidy mixture and pour that back into the milk. Then you want to cook this for about 5 minutes while whisking constantly. Do not stop moving that whisk. Seriously, this is such a good arm workout that I canceled that gym membership that I don't have. When the custard begins to thicken, take it out of the pot and strain it into a bowl through a fine mesh sieve. This is just to get rid of any lumps that formed while cooking the custard. When that's done, return it to the pot and raise the heat to medium and cook until your mixture thickens into a custard cream. If you get more lumps, you can always sieve the mixture again, but I was fine, so I just let it be. The last step before piping the cream into the pastries is to add in some pure vanilla. Once that's fully incorporated, you're ready to pipe. So just take one of your pastries, find an opening, and stick your tip inside. Then just push the cream inside until you begin to see it puff up. Then just give it a fancy swirl on top to finish it off. This is why they say French food is the food of love, but Italian food is the food of passion. And of course, no Zeppole would be complete without the sour cherry on top. You can just place one on or let the cherry juice run free from your spoon, but either way you'll end up with a beautiful and delicious dessert. They may take some time and effort to make, but they're so creamy and sweet that you may begin to question why they're only made once a year. I hope you'll enjoy this recipe. Ingredient list is in the description box down below. Be sure to leave a comment to let me know what recipes you want to see next. Subscribe for more nifty recipes, like and share this video to spread the love, and as always, have a mighty nifty day today.